was Christmas Adam.
Christmas Adivas.
Yes. So you have received given for everyone?
Now, Mama?
You have given for everyone?
Yeah. Well, now it's finished. Somebody else is coming.
We can share this.
No. Everybody's left.
Everybody.
So who wants to share if you have everybody else?
She has given me now.
So you want to share it with her or what?
I thought it was not enough for everyone.
No, if somebody else
that
coming,
we can share this.
No, everybody got.
Me not, because I came late, so she took out some, I don't know, from
No, that much I had, but fruit was not there.
It's okay.
Yes. Okay, everybody take prasad. So we can start. अज्ञानतिवृन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगुणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थे भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter number 31, verse number 16. The teachings of Lord Kapila to his mother Devhuti, and this chapter is describing the condition of living entity who suffers bondage in the material world, and he was specifically talking about living being in the womb, how he suffers. But there are some rare souls who have performed devotional activity in the past life. By the grace of the Lord, they can remember their past and they can remember the Lord. So these are the prayers of such a person. And the prayers he has explained how Lord He is very gracious that he exists in this material body, which is not very clean or a nice place to be in. Yet he is not bound, and it is only by his grace that one can attain remembrance of him, the Lord. Otherwise it is not possible. And without his remembrance it is not possible to get out of this material world. Nothing else can work. And this remembrance comes by the grace of a Mahatpurusha, a devotee. So he continues to pray. He says, Jnanam yadetadadhat katma sadaiva trekalikam sthirchare svanuvartitam shaha tam jiva karma padvim anuvartamanaha tapatrayopashamnaya vayam bhajemaha. He says that Lord who gave this knowledge of Trekalik, knowing the three kalas three times, Yadetat adhat katmasu sthircharesu, and he is the one who is situated by his one part in both movable and immovable living beings. Sthircharesu anuvartitamsa. So tam jiva karma padavim anuvartamana stapatrayok samanaya vayam bhajame. We are worshipping that Lord to become free from the three types of miseries. Adi bhautik, adi daivik, adhyatmik. These are the three types of sufferings everybody has to undergo here. So we worship the Lord so that we can become free from this bondage or this suffering. This is his prayer. So Lord, he is everywhere, and because he says anuvartit ansa. So earlier, if you remember, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said, beginning from the very first verse of the prayer, that he is referring to Krishna. So this also fits in this word here, Sthircharesu anuvartitansha, that one who is situated by one of his amsa or manifestation as Paramatma. So that means his prayer is actually to Bhagavan and not to Paramatma, because Paramatma is manifestation of Bhagavan. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Nanu tam parameshwaram kena pramanena gyatva bhajasi iti tatra anumanena eva itya. So earlier he said that I want to worship him because only by worship I will be able to go to his abode. Nasta smriti punar ayam prabhuranita lokam yuktyakaya mada grahamantarena. So he is raising a question that how do you know that Parameshwara, the Supreme Lord? By which means do you know? Pramana means the proper way to know something. Means of valid knowledge is called Pramana. So by which Pramana do you know? Because he is not seeing him. So he says that I know him by Anumana Pramana. You have to study Nyaya, then you can know the Lord even if you don't see him directly. Because in Nyaya, the first thing they do is Ishwar Siddhi. Right? So Nyaya begins with establishing the Ishvara. Because Nyaya says that first you do Mangalacharan, invocation to the Lord. So then they say that why you do Mangalacharan? So first is Mangalvad. Big discussion why we should recite prayers at the beginning of a book or beginning of class. So many objections are raised to that. And after that, next is Ishwarvad, whether there is actually Ishvara or not. So Anuman is one of the subjects of Nyaya, and he says Anumane Naiva, that only by Anuman, by inference, I know the existence of God. Jnanam yadetan vai admepi adadhat dharyamas arpeti sma. Why is that? Because he has given me this knowledge, trikalikam jnanam. Otherwise it is not possible. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. That it is from him, the Lord, that knowledge comes. Otherwise we are groping in darkness, and we can get different types of knowledge, but not knowledge of the Supreme Lord. And if we don't have knowledge of the Supreme Lord, then we also do not understand this universe properly. Because to understand anything properly, you have to understand the cause of that. If you become sick and you want to cure the disease properly, then you have to first know the cause of that disease. Right? And when cause is removed, then disease is gone. If you don't know the cause, how do you treat it? What will you do? And then you keep on guessing. Try this, it doesn't work, try that. And if that does not work, then try something else. Go on trying. And then keep on paying the fee. So first nidan, know the cause behind it, then you can cure. So this applies to everything. If we want to study this universe and we don't know the cause of the universe, then we cannot understand the universe properly. That's why scientists, they are struggling for now at least 90 years trying to figure out what the universe is all about, how does it function. So they have string theory, unified field theory, theory of everything, all kinds of theories they are trying, but they are not successful because the cause is missing. They don't want to include Paramatma, so they will never be successful. All the biggest minds, they have struggled for so many years. They cannot solve this riddle. So he says that I have got knowledge because of your grace, otherwise it is not possible by ourselves. So this is the Anuman. Knowledge comes from others. Child is born in ignorance, does not know anything except one thing, how to suck. Put anything in the mouth, he sucks it. That he knows. But more than that, everything he has to learn, even how to pass stool properly. So all knowledge comes from outside. But this Prakalik Gyan comes only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore it says, Jnanam yadetat adhat katmah sa deva. Who is this Deva other than you? Or Katama, Ka also means Brahma. And Katma means who is beyond him, supreme. So that's Supreme Lord, because there are also other deities. They are presiding deities of eyes, ears, nose, hands, legs, everything has a presiding deity. So someone can say, well, the knowledge can come from them also. So he says, no, Katama, Sadeva. He is the supermost Deva. It is only from him that knowledge comes. And who is he? Sthircharesu anuvartitansa. Who is in everybody, everywhere. So tam jiva karma padmim anuvartamana. So we have now attained this position of jiva karma. We are conditioned by karma. Therefore, suffering from the three tapas, three types of heat coming to us. So to upshaman means to quell that heat. We are doing bhajan to you. So he says, Jnanam yadetan mai adame api adadhat. Bharyamas arpati. That you have given this knowledge even to me, who is so fallen. Sakatmo devo bhavet. Who is that among these devas? Who is that supreme one? Who is one out of them? Devasu madhya kashin mukhya bhavet. So he is somebody who is supreme among all that. Iti majjnana अन्यथानुपत्य एव नुमीयमानं त्रैकालिकं भूत भविष्य वर्तमान कालेषु विराजमानं त्रिचरेषु अनुवर्तितो अंतर्यामी रूपं स्वयेन तं. So he said that this is the Lord who is situated as Antaryami, super soul in everybody, and Trakalik can be applied to Gyan, or it can also be applied to his presence. He is always present. And Majjnana Anyathanupatya. There is one praman which is called Anyathanupatti. So that means when something is not possible in any other way, then you assume. It's called presumption. That when everything, you try this, if it doesn't work this way, then the remaining possibility, whatever is remaining. So, Pino Dev Datta Devana Bhanta Ratra Bhanta. Dev Datta is fat, he does not eat during daytime, so he must eat at night, although we don't see him eating. But how can he maintain his obesity if he does not eat? And he doesn't eat in day, and then he eats at night. So this is Anyathanupatti Pramana. This is also included in Anuman by Naiyayikas. They don't accept this as a separate. Therefore he says Anyathanupatti eva numiyamanam Jeev sambandhanim karma padmim. So we who have attained the state of Jiva in which we are suffering from the karma, then he continues further, explaining the miserable situation of the living entity. So he says that Dehi anya dehe vivre jathragnanasrig Vinamutra Kupa Patito Brishatapta Deha Ichannito Vivasatum Ganayan Swamasan Nirvashate Kripanadhir Bhagavan Kadanu. So he says that I am situated in this body of another person, and seeing inside is not very nice, because inside is a lot of garbage. Body has one characteristic, that you put anything in it, it turns it into garbage. It's a garbage turning machine. You can eat nice food, right? Fragrant, sweet, rasgulla, gulab jamun, dates. What else is there? So you eat whatever. The end result everybody knows. So what comes out, usually they say garbage in, garbage out. In computer language they call it a gigo. But here it's not like that. It's not, garbage is not in, but out is garbage. And what is inside remaining, that also is not so good. So he says that this jiva is in the body of another person, and there he is getting cooked by the fire of the stomach, jatragnina. Because there is a fire in the stomach, and the jiva is also there in the body of the mother. Mother eats food, food is also digested with the fire. He is also close to that. And then there is all this type of things which I really don't want to translate.
Jump in the Jamuna. Disregard of our bodies.
So he says that I have fallen into this well which is full of all this filth, and I am hanging in there, brishatapta deha, suffering. So when will you please take me out of this place? I am counting my time. Ichhan ito vivasitum ganayan swamasan nirvashyate kadanu. Bhagavan Kripanadhi says, I have lost my intelligence. When you suffer too much, you lose your intelligence. Right? Because intelligence also needs little balanced state to function. If you are very angry, upset, or too much disturbed by too much heat or bad smell, then you cannot function nicely. Intelligence cannot function nicely. So he says that I am counting my months. It's like when you are in some place and you want to go back to your home and its time is approaching, then you start back counting. Right? How many more days? So he says like that I am also counting, sitting here, nothing else to do. So when will I go out of this? See his question. Hey Prabho, mam dukkham sukham tvacharan prapti etat sarvam tvadadhinam. So he says that my suffering, my happiness, my attainment of your lotus feet, it is all under your control. There is nothing that I can do about it. So this is a fact, especially if somebody is in the womb of the mother. If you are outside, maybe you can make some effort that you go to temple, do yours with chanting some mantra. There you cannot do this. Tadadhinamiti aham ati balyad ati tarlyad cha kimapi prichhami. Says that I am very small and very fickle, and therefore I am just asking you this. Iti uddhasenaiva bhagavantam. With this intention, he speaks to the Lord. Aham dehi anya deha vivare matur udar kuhare. Says I am the living being and I am in the body of someone else, which means the body of the mother. Ito vivarat vivasitum vyukti bhavitum ichcham. So he says that I want to get out of this place. Enough of residing here. Swamasan ayam astmo ayam namo ayam dasmai tiyam ganiyam. So I am counting my months. This is 8th month, 9th month, 10th month. Kripanadhi sviya dukkha sukha datta drishtitvat kubuddhi. So Kripanadhi means that I have kubuddhi or roguish intelligence, because I am always in this miserable situation or sometimes some happiness. Ayam jana kada nirvasyate bahir niskamishyate bhavata. So when will you bring out this soul out of this miserable situation? Iti atra asya kastasya sodhum asakyatvad bahireva tatra tvam bhajayati. Says that I am unable to tolerate this misery, and this meaning is that I want to come out and then worship you there. Because to do worship, some comfort is also needed. So when will you take me out? So this is also the quality of knowledge, that when you have knowledge, then you are more aware and then you feel more suffering. People who are too much ignorant, they also remain in tamas. So this is the problem with knowledge. And if something is not proper, then you are more aware of it than the others. And you have to be prepared for it. येन ईदृशीं गतिमसौ दशमास्यैष संग्राहितः पुरुदयेन भवादृशेन येन ईदृशीं गतिं स्वेनैव तुष्यतु कृतेन स दीननाथ को नाम तत्प्रतिविनाञ्जलिमस्य कुर्यात्. He says that you have given such grace, that you have given me this knowledge, O Lord, because he is having this understanding. So he says that what can I do? Lord has given this knowledge by his causeless grace. So what can I do in response to that? So he says there is nothing I can do. Svenaiva tushyatu kritena sadhina natha. He says you be happy that you have done this to me. So Vallabhacharya writes one example. He says yatha pank magnanam gam udhritya swameva tushyati. So if there is a cow which gets stuck in mud and you see and you take it out from the mud, then you feel happy by doing that yourself. Not that cow is now going to say thank you to you. So she is not going to do anything, she will walk away. So like that he says that I am here and you have given me this knowledge, what can I say? You just be happy by your own act. Why? Because you are Dinanath. You are the master of the Deen, fallen people. Konam tat prati vinanjali masya kuryat. He says that the only thing I can do is that I can fold my hands to you, so that you will be satisfied. Nanu tarhi kadam nirvashyate iti mam uktva mai samprati api tvam ito bahirniskrameti nirdyatvam kim prasanjyasi iti. So Lord is asking a question to him. He says that you are asking me a question, that when will you take me out of this place? So what does it mean? This has an implied meaning. An implied meaning is that you are very cruel, that you are keeping me here. Don't you know that I am suffering here? So he says, iti mamuktva mai samprati api tvam ito bahirniskrameti nirdatvam eva kim prasanjati. So he says that, are you trying to say that I am very cruel? That even now I have not taken you out of this place? So when Lord is, as if Lord is raising this question to the jiva, tatra salajjam sasankam sarasna dansam satma adhikaramah. So when the jiva, he feels very shy, shameful that he has spoken like this, and he becomes little fearful, and he puts his tongue under his teeth like that. Like when you do something and you feel shameful, then you do that, right? That is to stop your tongue so that it doesn't speak. What did I say? So he does like that.
Bite your tongue.
What is it called?
Bite your tongue.
Bite your tongue.
Stop it from saying what it's been saying.
Yes. So, and then he speaks what is his position. Satmadhikara means according to his position. So he says, Yena idrishim devairapi durlabham gatim tvad bhaktatva lakshanam avastham dasmasya garbhastvapi hem grahita. He says that you have given me this very rare position which is not available even to the devas. And what is that? That in the 10th month, although I am situated in the womb, you have given me your devotion. So what can I complain? Why that Purudayana? Because you are very, very gracious. You are very compassionate. Bhavadrishena. Bhavata iti akshep labdhasya visheshanat. Bhavat sadrisho dayalur bhavane. Nanye iti ananvya alankaram bodhite. So it says that Bhavadrishena, that you who are like this, you have given this grace. So what is the meaning, you who are like this? Means that you who cannot be compared to anyone else. Usually when you glorify some people, then you give some similes that, oh, you are like that, and you are great like this, or you are beautiful like this. Then you give some simile. Like we read on your eyes are like lotus petal, your face is like full moon. But he says that here he is comparing the Lord to himself. This is one type of alankar which is called ananvaya alankar. Ram Ravanayor Viddham Ram Ravanayor eva. Right? Nyaya mein bhi hai? Pehle. So the battle, the fight between Rama and Ravana, what is the simile for that? He says that the battle between Rama and Ravana was like battle between Ram and Ravana. Because there was no other battle like this. There is no comparison to it. So of course in Nyaya they say that this means what happened in the previous kalpa. Because in previous kalpa also there was a battle between Ram and Ravana, and this one is also that only. There is nothing in between which happened to compare this. So here also they say that you are like you only. So like sometimes they say that you are like you. So nobody is like you. Etat pratikritis tu maya brahmayupi ashakya itya. Say that I cannot repay. When you are grateful to somebody and you want to do something bad in return, so you say that it is not possible even if I am living as long as the life of Brahma. Therefore, Swakritanaiva Swayam Tushyati. That you please be happy by your own deeds, your own good action. Anjali matram bina tat pratividhim ko naam kuriyat kartum shakniyat asita. So he says that the only thing I can do is I just fold my hands to you. That's all. That also he cannot do actually. But at least he can say that. Pashyati ayam dhishnayanu saptabadri शारीरिकेदं शरीरि अपरस्वदेहे यत्सृष्टया असंतमहं पुरुषं पुराणं पश्ये बहिर्हृदि च चैत्यं यत्प्रतीतम्. So he says that a person who is knowledgeable, then he can see that the living being is tied up in this body and bound with the 7 types of these tattvas. And Dhishnayana Saririkeedam Sariri Aparaswadehi Yat Srishtya Asam Tamaham Purusham Pranam. So you are the creator by your creation. He is situated like that. I can see you both inside and outside because of the intelligence which you have given. So, how he gives an example, chatyam eva pratitam, just like the chatya or the ego in the body. स्वस्मिन् भगवत कृपातिशयम् अन्यतो वैलक्षण्येन आह मन्यतो वैलक्षण्येन आह. He is explaining the grace of the Lord as special grace of the Lord himself. Says, I am manushya jatim apannah saptavadri bhirgato jiva sharirike sharir bhave sukh dukkhe eva dhashanaya buddhya pashyati. Tatopi aparah kaschit bhagyavan swadehe stitoddam sariri jnani bhavati. Says that usually the living beings who have taken the human form, they are bound by the physical body and they only see the happiness and distress coming to the body. There is nothing else that they can see. Because when we are identifying with the body, then whatever is happening in the mind, we perceive that. There is two types of knowledge. There is vyavasayik jnana and then anuvyavasayik jnana. So first there is a perception and then there is a knowledge of the perception that I perceive this. So this anuvyavasayik jnana or this perceiving knowledge is basically can be put in two categories ultimately. And those two categories are happiness and suffering. Whatever is perceived, either it gives you a good feeling or it gives you a bad feeling. So our intelligence is only seeing this because it happens in the mind, and then intelligence is that through which you perceive it, and there is a ahankara who owns that perception. So he says that dhashanaya buddhya pashyati. That's all they are saying, sukha and dukkha. But then there is some very rare person who is fortunate and he becomes jnani, dhammasariri. Dhammasariri means that he has control over his mind. But he says that I am even superior to that. Aham tu sa prasiddha papatma api yat srishtya yat dattya dhishanaya tam puranam purushottamam chatyam chittadhisthataram chittena api sevyam prabhum bahischa hridya pratitam aprokshataya praptameva pasya pasyami. So he is applying this verse in a little bit different manner, because earlier he has made three divisions of the jivas, that there are some who suffer, then there are some who practice yoga, and then there are some who practice bhakti. So these three situations also exist in the womb. So number one is that he is only seeing happiness and distress and nothing else. Number two is jnani. And number three is he himself who is reciting the prayer, that I am superior to all this. He says that although I am very sinful, papatma, but because of yat srishtaya, yat dattaya, that you have given me the intelligence, and with that I am able to see the Supreme Person, Purushottama, Chatyam. Chatyam he gives two meanings, Chitta adhisthataram, Chittena api sevyam param. That either the meaning of Chatya is one who is the presiding deity of the Chitta or the heart, or one who is worshipped by the Chitta. So he says, I am seeing that person inside and outside, in my heart and also outside. Pratitam aprokshataya praptam. Just like as if having a direct experience, aparoksha anubhuti. Atra nirukta cha vashabdena darshitam jivanam travidyam. So earlier he has quoted verses from the Nirukta. Mritasya punarjato jatasya punarmita tad bhavana vakyanantaram sankhyan yogam samabhyaseta purusham va panchamaskam. So he says that there are also three divisions of jivas have been given. So one is Mritasya punarjato jatasya punarmita, who is going in this cycle of birth and death. I am born, then I am dying, then I am born, I am dying again. And then there is Sankhya Yogam Samabhyaset Purusham Va Panchamaskam. That there is somebody practice Sankhya, or one worships the Purusha who is 25th. 24 elements, material elements, and 25th is Lord. So this shows that there are three types of people, and this is how he is applying this verse.
Excuse me, what was the third one again?
Devotee. Karmi Jnani Bhakta. Soham vasanapi vibho bahu dukkhavasam garbhanna nirjigamashe bahirandhakupe yatro upyatam upasarpati deva maya mithya matiryadanu sansriti chakrametat. So although previously he said that when will I go out of it, now he says that he doesn't want to go out. He seems a little bit now confused what he wants to do. So first he said that when will you take me out of this, and now he says that although I am suffering very much here in this womb because it is full of misery, still I have no desire to fall into the deep dark well called material world. Because as soon as I come out, your Maya is going to catch me. It's waiting. Because as soon as you come out, then everybody looks at you. Oh, how cute baby is this. And they're bringing gifts to you. And you're then attached to all these people around you. And then you forget the Lord. Inside there is nothing. No Christmas. It's all same. No disturbance. So he said that and then what happens that when the Maya will catch me, then mithya materiyadam sansriti, then I will have the false attachment or illusory attachment to this body, and the illusion that I am this body, and then I am in the chakra, sansara chakra. So this is the situation in the material world. Then you go on this cycle. So he prefers to stay back. You have a choice either to be outside the womb and not suffer the misery there, and be caught by the Maya, or remain inside, suffer and be free from Maya. So between these two situations he prefers the first one. Like Sukadeva Goswami was doing that. Nanu tvam bhaktyaeva mam evam bruse kinchatra dukkhena udvijase chayatah kada nirvasyate iti nivedayastastam adhunaeva ato garbhan niskramyami apiti tatra na ityaha. So he says that you are speaking like this to me with bhakti, but at the same time you are disturbed by the miseries. Because you said, when will you take me out of this? So then he said that, okay, I will take you out from the womb right away. Since you are asking, he says, immediately I will take you out. Garbhan adhuna eva to garbhan niskramyami. So then he said, no, don't do that. sohamiti yatra bahirupyatam praninam devasya tav maya upsarpati. Why is that? Says as soon as I go out, then your maya will slowly come and clasp me in her arms. Yadanu yamanu mithya matir dehe aham buddhi. Then I will have the identification with the body, that I am this body. And once you have that, then you are back to the, you are ready for another stay in the womb. So as soon as we have this idea that I am the body, then we are ready to take another birth after giving up this body. So that is called samsara chakra. So then he speaks the last verse, the final verse. So what is his last prayer? Says tasmadaham vigata viklava uddharishye atmanamaashutam sa suhidatmanaiva bhuyo yatha vyashname tadanekarandhram mame bhavishyadupasādita vishnupādaha. Says therefore my decision is that giving up my all disturbance and fixing my heart in the lotus feet of the Lord, with the help of my intelligence, I will be able to cross this ocean of material world, so that I don't have to take birth in this material world which is full of all kinds of tribulations. So this is his decision. Although he is praying to come out, but he decides to remain back. So tarhi kim nischinosi iti tatra. So as if Lord is asking, so what is your decision, final decision, tell me one. You want that I take you out or you want to stay in? So then he speaks this verse. Tatraiva sthito dukkhena api vigat viklavo avyapala. Says I will remain situated here, and although there are miseries, I will not bother about them. And become free from them. Suhida atmana sarthi rupya buddhya eva aniyat taddatya. And I will cross over this material world with the help of my intelligence, which is like my friend. So intelligence is like the driver. Just as Krishna is the driver of Arjuna, so he represents the buddhi. Says dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. I give the buddhi yoga by which you can come to me. So then that's how he is sitting in the chariot and driving the chariot of Arjuna. Because that is the buddhi, and by buddhi you go to Krishna. Buddhir buddhimatam asmi. I am the intelligence of the intellect of the intelligent. And buddhya yuktaya partha karam bandham prahasyasi. By being endowed with this buddhi, you will be able to transcend the karma, the bondage of karma. So this buddhi is very important. How we use this, that will decide where we go. Because buddhi is the sarathi. Our life is guided by our decisions. Because once you decide and you take a highway, then you go on that. And decision is done by buddhi. Right? Buddhi is that which makes the decision. Mind is doing sankalpa, vikalpa, thinking, feeling, willing, all this. But decision is taken by buddhi. So if you make wrong decision, then we reach wrong destination. And if our buddhi is in our control and not that mind has overtaken, then buddhi is intelligence. Atmaihi atmano bandhu, atmaiv ripuratmana. So if mind is not controlled, then it becomes enemy, and if he is in our control, then he is a friend. So he says that only you have given me this buddhi, not that I have got it from somewhere. Taddattaya atmanam tamsa sansar tadbuddha. So I will be able to transcend this material world. Yatha etad anek randharam navdvara sthula deha lakshanam vyasnam vipattir memam ma bhavishnam. So that I don't have to again fall into this miserable situation of having this material body, which has got many holes in it. Anek randhra. So the body is full of holes. Mouth, nose, ears, and then all the small holes. So it is a holy body.
There's nothing positive.
It's very holy. Very wholesome. So he says that I don't want this holy, wholesome body. I have done with it. Therefore I stay back and I will get out of this material world. So what is the solution? Katra tav sadhana samagri. So Lord is asking that what is the process? What will you do? Let me hear. So he says that upsaditav smarana kirtanadivi arashritav vishnustav padavini. Says I just take shelter of your lotus feet. And how do I take shelter of your lotus feet? Says two things, smaran and kirtan. I remember you and I do kirtan. That's all. It's very simple. So then you don't have to take birth again. So these are the prayers. This is the last verse. And then Lord Kapila will explain after this the situation of a common person. What happens, how he takes birth, and then what happens after the birth. So that we will read tomorrow.
Kirtana means japa also, yeah?
Japa, kirtan.
Japa is more smaran.
Yeah.
Japa is actually part of Smaran.
So what they say, smart remembering and kirtan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Seems like they're both.
No, they're not both, they're different.
Well, when you're chanting the names of the Lord, you're remembering the Lord, right? No, no.
And chanting means loud or not loud? Any other question?
Okay. You mentioned that the attainment of Krishna's lotus feet is under his control.
What is it? Say it again.
The attainment of Krishna's lotus feet is under his control,
Yes.
right? And there's nothing that we can do about it. I would like to understand that a little bit more. Also in the terms of the inspirations that we get, the challenges that we get on the way. You know, where do they come from? We've got
And that's how it is under his control. Because if he does not give inspiration, then how will you get his feet?
Then where does the inspiration come that we
Inspiration
want to
comes-
undertake endeavours and austerities to...
that inspiration comes from him. He only gives the inspiration.
And when you see someone who's just plodding along, just on the externals, not really going anywhere,
That is his problem. That means he's not getting the inspiration and he's just usual self. Krishna gives the inspiration and if he's not giving inspiration, then what do? You just plod along. Do according to your normal samskaras, whatever is there. But inspiration he gives.
What kind of suffering do we get from the three tapas?
Suffering from your body, suffering from other people who are traveling.
And the adhyatmic sufferings?
Yeah, Dhatmik is from yourself.
From intelligence or
Body,
mind?
mind. You fall sick, you get diarrhea, anxieties. And Adhibhautik is from other people. Somebody pulls your leg, somebody punches you, criticizing you. And Adhidayika, from nature.
Nature, heat, cold.
Too much cold, lot of snow, earthquake, tsunami, volcano.
Global warming.
Global warming.
Global warming.
Yeah. Actually, sleeps.
Yes.
I have a question about this knowing the Lord or knowing Ishvara by Anumana.
Hmm.
To what extent can Anumana replace the practical experience of a devotee that he makes of Krishna or Bhakti?
Cannot replace that.
So how far does Anumana really get you
Anumana,
without practical experience?
Anumana can only go to the extent that there is Bhagavan.
Just to accept the fact that there is a...
Yeah. But more than that, it cannot go very deep.
No, I'm also asking this question in regards to the verse in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that one makes practical experience, pradyaksha, by... so...
See, Anuman, there is two types of knowledge. One is called Paroksha Jnana and one is called Aparoksha Jnana. Means direct knowledge and indirect knowledge. So Anumana gives you indirect knowledge, which is general knowledge. And when you have Aparoksha Jnana, direct knowledge, that is a specific knowledge. So in the famous example that Yatra yatra dhumas tatra tatra vanni, wherever there is smoke, there is fire. And Parvatoyam vanniman dhumat, this Parvat, this mountain has fire because I see the smoke. So by seeing the smoke, you are inferring fire, but you don't see the fire. So this is only indirect knowledge of fire. What kind of fire, how big is this fire? You don't know anything like that. But just the presence. So this is called general. And then you imagine that fire because you have experienced fire somewhere else. So you make a picture like that. But not specific knowledge. So this is the difference. So Hanuman can only in general speak that everything which exists is created, the universe is also a creation, and there must be a creator because without creator nothing comes into existence. But then what type of creator, what quality he has, how he looks, all this specific knowledge you cannot get by Hanuman.
So Nyaya really just establishes the fact that God exists.
Yes.
So you were also speaking about to get rid of the suffering one has to do bhajan, like to quell the three tapas, as you heard. How is this so? Because we see that sometimes, or great devotees, even great devotees, they suffer more terrible sufferings like the Pandavas or...
Yeah, well, one way is that they suffer externally, but internally they don't suffer. Because you see, the mind in Nyaya, mind is considered as atomic, and at a time it can only perceive one thing. So if your mind is fixed on God, which means doing bhajan, and it said by bhajan you can quell the suffering. So when your mind is fixed on service, then it cannot be on the misery. So then you transcend it.
So only with bhajans and chanting the
Bhajan
name
means
of the Lord.
service. Bhajan does not
Service.
mean only singing.
Okay, and service and
Any
chanting.
devotional service.
Devotional service, chanting and
Yes.
and chant the Hare Krishna. You're out of this circle.
Yes.
I have another question if nobody else has a question. It seems a little paradoxical that on one side we learn from Sankhya that the jiva needs prakriti to liberate himself, which is the body. And on the other hand, the body is like always described as something really disgusting. How do you...
Well, to leave this, you have to become disgusted. Otherwise you would not like to leave. So this is how it is helping you. If you like it, and you are comfortable, then you don't want to leave. But if it is disgusting and you realize this, then you want to leave, so is it not helping you? And at the same time, this is one way of looking at it. Another way is that although it is body is disgusting or whatever, but with this you can also do devotion service, and then you get out of it.
So even if you are using the body in devotional service, you still look at the body as something disgusting, or is it not like, it's your instrument, your all you have to serve Krishna?
Yeah, you see it as an instrument to serve Krishna. This disgusting thing is again, that if you remember, this description here is mixture of jnana and bhakti. And he already said just to create, the purpose is to create some detachment. Because some detachment is necessary to take to spiritual life. But really speaking, it's not like you have to always meditate on that. Once you have understood and you take to the path of bhakti, then you don't have to consider it all the time like that.
So there's so much to chant. There's so many mantras. There's the Bhagavad Gita. There's the Yoga Sutras, and so on and so on. So how to choose what to chant? I know certain people believe Maha Mantra, only that, but there's so much to chant.
You want to take my answer?
Yeah.
You chant the Maha Mantra.
Maha mantras.
That is the mantra for this age.
Because there's also Mahamrityunjaya mantra. There's other mantras that are called Maha.
There are many Mahas.
And what about Gayatri?
Just chant Maha Mantra. Gayatri needs some specific qualification. You see, there are two types. There is one is called Nam, another is called Mantra. And this distinction is not known to people. So these mantras, when I say mantra in the technical sense, they need some specific qualification to be chanted. Means you have to be initiated, you have to know how to do it. You cannot do it anywhere, everywhere. You have to be in pure state, physically also. And then you chant, whether it is Gayatri Mantra or Mahamrityunjaya Mantra, they have to be chanted like that. There is a Maryada, means some system which has been set up and it has to be followed to get the proper result of the mantras. And this is not possible for most people in Kali Yuga now. There are many rules to be followed. Then there is other thing is the Nam. It's like Mahamantra. Although we call it Mahamantra, but it is not mantra in the technical sense. So those rules are not applicable on this. You can chant it, therefore some things are relaxed there according to the qualification of people in Kali Yuga.
Another teacher has defined mantra for me as something that protects the mind.
You can define in many ways.
Protects the mind.
And the word mantra, the word can have different meaning. It means something which is secret. Like the word minister or the word Mandarin, they all come from the same word as mantra. So minister, especially in the olden days, and in Sanskrit the word is mantri. The kings used to have their ministers. In India they are called mantri. Like Prime Minister is called Mukhya Mantri. Prime means Mukhya and Mantri is minister. So kings used to have ministers with whom he used to have consultation. And it is supposed to be secret, means everybody should not know that. What policies are being made and what is being done, especially the enemies. So that's why they are called Mantri, and this meeting is called Mantrana, consultation. So there is even a saying in Sanskrit that Sadbhir Karno Mantra Vibhidyate. That if the mantra goes in 6 years, then it is spoiled. And mantra there does not mean this mantra, Gayatri mantra or anything, but just the meeting which we have had and we have decided something, that is called mantra also in Sanskrit. Suppose we sit together, the king sits with the minister and they decide that okay, we are going to attack the neighbor king like this. So this is mantra. Now this should not go to another third person. 6 years means third person. It has gone to the 4 years. If it goes into the third
6 years? I thought you said 6 years.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you bring that up.
So if it goes into the 6
Ears.
years, Y-E-A-R, no, E-A-R, not Y-E-A-R, so then it is spoiled. So that's why here also when Guru gives the mantra, then Guru gives the mantra secretly. Actually the system is that Guru and disciple, they put a cloth over their head and then Guru gives the mantra in the ear. And nobody else would hear it. And then the disciple is not allowed to speak it in front of everybody. That's why it has to be chanted secretly, not openly here, there, and with the mic. Then it has no meaning. It is not a mantra anymore, because the very meaning of mantra is secret. So its power, its potency is kept only when it is secret. But because they are very powerful things, you may feel some power by doing it on the mic and openly. Now all kinds of CDs, every mantra you can get on internet. There is nothing which you will not find there. But that's not a system. It has to be kept completely secret. So even when you chant, you cannot chant it in public or with somebody else. And even you are not allowed to chant it loudly. The mantra. You have to chant it in the mind. That's why chanting of mantra or the japa is counted in smaran, remembrance. Because you are doing it in the mind. Like when you remember only in the mind. You don't speak with the mouth. That's the difference between kirtan and smaran. So, but when it is nam, then in case of nam you can also chant it audibly, but not the mantra. Mantra should actually not come out of your mouth. That is the meaning, that it should not go to the 6 years. It should stay within you. You heard it from your Guru and then it stays within you, in your heart. Unless you have to give it diksha to somebody, you become guru and you give diksha, then you can do that. Otherwise, this is the secret. And in Tantra there is a statement, Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati how secret is the mantra. You will be actually surprised. I was talking about giving an example. He says, Gopaniyam, Gopaniyam, Gopaniyam Swayonivat. He says that you should keep this as a secret like you hide your vagina.
Like you hide your...
Vagina. That is the exact word he is
Oh,
using.
well, that's what he said.
So with that you can understand how secret is the mantra. I mean, what more can you say, The woman, the one thing which you will not like to show is that part. So therefore it is called mantra. That is the real meaning of the word mantra.
Why is so important to have a guru?
Because without guru you will not get knowledge. Next he was asking, there is Gita, there is Mahamrityunjaya mantra, there is this, what is to be chanted. So for that you need guru.
But there is knowledge in the scriptures. There is knowledge in the scriptures.
Yeah, but you will not understand it.
But there are so much scriptures.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much scriptures, but you will not understand the meaning unless you have guru.
What is the guru doing?
He teaches.
But if he is not there, how can
What are
How
the
can-
symptoms of a guru?
We have
Teach
to
me.
have a living guru. Guru means a teacher.
But sometimes the disciples, they are writing letters and they don't get even answers.
So they remain in ignorance. You ask a question to the guru and you don't get an answer. You remain wherever you are.
You also may get an answer in a way that's not obvious to you.
But if they have so much disciples, then they cannot answer.
That's their problem then. So guru means gu and ru. Gu means darkness and ru means removes. One who removes darkness, ignorance. So how he removes? By teaching.
And how can you know that the guru is my guru?
How can
What
you
are
know?
the symptoms of guru in this Kali Yuga? He's trying to ask.
Guru means one who is, as I said, is a teacher. Teacher means that he knows, which means he has also studied properly from his guru. And he has realization of what he has studied. And he also practices it in his life. And that's called guru. So guru is also a very confusing field now.
Yes.
And
Do you
what
think
kind of
everybody needs a guru? Everybody.
Everybody who is sincere about spiritual life. Otherwise, why do you need a guru? You want to go to bar and dance. You don't need a guru.
But in the scriptures, sometimes it's not so difficult to understand. It's if I read a book, I understand this book.
I think you understand that.
Sometimes. And sometimes it's not easy to understand. If you can understand it, it will be very great.
Then I can ask a friend, maybe.
And you are not sure what he's saying is right or wrong. Right? Because friend is a friend. How do you know what he's saying is right or wrong? If you want to learn music, like Ula is learning music, right? So if you want to learn classical music, you want to learn some raga, Rag Bhairavi. Is it possible that you can learn it without a teacher?
Yes, you can learn it
And then
The
you,
internet.
No,
I mean,
no.
internet.
then you don't know what is a raga.
It's not possible.
It's impossible.
It's too difficult.
Whether you have internet or you can get CDs, you can get anything.
It's
You
too
can never
difficult.
learn it. It's impossible. Because you have to hear from the teacher. And without hearing and he directing you, it is not possible. No matter how much you hear. You will not actually know what the raga is. Right?
Yeah.
So, at least God is little more than the raga. To know God is little more than to learn the ragas. He is a spiritual person. He is beyond our sense perception. Ragas you can perceive with your senses, you can hear. God is beyond that. He is Adhokshada. How do you know about him?
Yeah.
So you definitely need Guru to know this. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, Sutvapi evam na vedakas. Even after hearing, people don't know. Ascharyevad pashyati kaschidenam ascharyevad bhakti tathaiva chami. So someone speaks about it, this is itself is a wonder that you can speak about it. And someone is hearing, that is another wonder. Someone is seeing it. So he says, after hearing also, it's not possible always to understand.
And if you found the Guru, then the relationship, it's forever.
Yes. So,
And how should a Shishya be? A disciple, what are the qualities of a disciple? How should he be?
quality of disciple is one main quality, is sincere.
Yes.
That is the most important thing. To have faith and be sincere.